Christian influencers. Okay, you said we talked about the woke right, and you said.
So this is Benjamin Netanyahu doing a conference with social media influencers after his horrible speech that he delivered. Benjamin Netanyahu is going to be talking, and he is also not an alien, but an immigrant. Well, I guess he's technically not. He's an American citizen too. As I've spoken out against this time and time again, Israel saw TikTok as a major priority, a major tool of influence. Israel singled out TikTok as the primary factor that was, quote unquote, radicalizing the youth into hating Israel. At a time when, of course, Israel was engaging in unprecedented levels of violence by doing a genocide. Okay? And to a certain degree, there is truth in this. The unrestricted algorithmic nature of the Chinese-backed TikTok app did actually open up a lot of normies' eyes to the cruelties of Israel. Okay? I'm sure it played a big role. Now, of course, ever since then, Israel has wanted to do everything in their power to take out TikTok or at least control it. Asked how Israel can shore up support in the U.S., Netanyahu says what we've all been saying. Let's take a look.
Which was actually my first published paper, was how you and the Likud party are cut from the same ideological cloth as Trump and the GOP in America. And so specifically with Charlie Kirk's assassination, who was a big mentor of mine, who's my first mentor in this space, evangelicals, from all my research, evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. So with Charlie's assassination and with the kind of trajectory that we see with like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game.
Damn, this guy is the OG, man. Look at how many pins he has. Does he even stand with Israel? I can't even tell at this point. He's standing with everybody. If you're standing with everybody with those sorts of pins, then are you even really standing with Israel at that point? My man looks like a Boy Scout, dude. Jesus Christ. He stands with everything. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? If you stand for everybody, you might as well be standing for nobody at that point. I know they're all Israel pins, guys. I'm making a joke, okay?
And Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel? What's our backup plan to be strong, like, outside of the diaspora?
Christian influencers, okay? You said, we talked about the woke right, and you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke.
Dog, I love how wokeness is so, like, wokeness is such a pejorative here that even when they're trying to fucking censor speech, which is exactly what these guys are trying to do here, which is what he's going to get to, they're still like, yeah, it's the wokes whose speech we must censor because we oppose them. Everything is woke, man. It means nothing. Word means nothing. It's just crazy.
I mean, they're insane. They're loonies. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money.
Yeah. All of the vast network of pro-Palestine supporters, not the moneyed interest of Israel, of course.
NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance, to that community. They're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well, okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is
Followers.
TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important?
Larry Ellison, major advocate for Israel. Larry Ellison, who has openly talked about being a shadow funder and also openly a funder of Israel, like when he was interviewed at the Friends of the IDF gala that was thrown together in Beverly Hills. I'm sure he's been interviewed on many other occasions as well, but that one lives in my mind. Has said, we're doing everything and anything we can to defend Israel, to support Israel. Israel is the homeland for all Jews, all this stuff. He's the one who's purchasing TikTok. He already had all the data and Oracle servers, and now they're going to control the algorithm as well. Now, what's really interesting about a foreign leader saying this, to me at least, is if we're talking about foreign influence, I would, and I stand on this, I would much rather have a Chinese-controlled algorithm than an Israel-controlled algorithm. Okay? 100%. Any day of the fucking week, I would much rather let the Chinese government store all of my fucking personal data than I would let the Israeli government store all of my personal data. If you think that's a hot take, you are not paying attention. I go so far as to say I would much rather allow the Chinese government to control the algorithm than the American government to control the algorithm. This is not even about my own personal biases or, the Chinese Communist Party or whatever the fuck. It's very clear to me that the Chinese government is agnostic when it comes to dealing with these sorts of things. They don't give a shit. It's evident by the fact that they sold TikTok as well instead of using it as a method to continue influencing the American public. So they're agnostic. They don't give a shit. And I would much rather have a country that is simply trying to farm, simply trying to trade max, controlling this algorithm, than giving it to the hands of a nation state that is absolutely going to use it for indecent purpose. It's that simple. Israel has not exactly hidden their intention to develop and design a sophisticated network of propaganda in the Western world. And it is evident by the fact that the one area that has not been as tarnished by some semblance of Israel's influence was fucking TikTok. And now they're taking it as well. There is a reason why so much of the mainstream platforms that you get your news from are so different and have been so different, or rather indifferent, to the cruelties of Israel for the past 23 months. Okay? Because that already has been completely servile to the interests of the American State Department and therefore the interests of Israel, because those two things are aligned. And you already see significant setbacks, censorship, and also like walled garden initiatives like those you see on Meta platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So they're already subservient to the interests of the American government. They're owned by American billionaires. They'll do whatever the fuck Trump asked them to do. We've seen it happen in real time. Okay? So the one truly independent platform in that regard was TikTok. And now they recognize that. They didn't like that. And they put the fucking claws out. And it's crazy that they're not even hiding it. Like, he just straight up says, what's the most important social media platform? Social media is more important than any other weapon here for Israel's war on information. And what's the most important social media platform?
Social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is
Followers. Followers.
TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. That's very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpoint? Yes.
Why are they doing this out in the open? Because they can. Because they can. Because what are you going to fucking do about it? Have you not been paying attention to every single thing that Benjamin Netanyahu has been able to get away with? Whether it is like directly contradicting every administration over and over again, no matter how normal their demands are, no matter how fucking bare minimum their demands are. That's it. Because they can. It's a demonstration of power. Just like when Benjamin Netanyahu goes in front of the UNGA, knowing full well that many of the people there that are representatives of their respective states are going to walk out. He doesn't give a shit because that's a flex. Okay? Yediot Ahronot. Israel has decided to conduct an investigation to identify the countries that did not attend Netanyahu's speech at the General Assembly. Fucking awesome. Now, this is not a moment to be fearful, though. I will say this because this is not a moment to be fearful. The reason why I say that is because they're doing this because they're weak. Make no mistake. They're doing this because there is an unprecedented amount of anger and resistance to the actions of Israel and the ways in which Western governments have turned a blind eye to said discontent is only making things worse for Israel. They recognize that things are changing. And instead of trying to re-triangulate their messaging, trying to take that liberal Zionist exit ramp, they are so used to the arrogant ways in which they've operated without any pushback whatsoever, without any accountability whatsoever, that they think they can get away with demanding more. Okay? So once again, it is pertinent on all of us to show this reality to anyone that's not fucking paying attention. Remember how much anger and resentment the TikTok ban caused to begin with. Okay? I don't think those people, if they were aware, because the mainstream media is not going to report on this. Let's be real. So it's once again up to people like yourselves, people like myself, to try to get others to pay attention to exactly what's going on before it's too late. But the reason as to why they're doing this shit in broad daylight is because they've never experienced any kind of repercussions whatsoever. This is where we're at.